What's up? What's up? Another day leveled up. It's your boy Salem back with another one for you. So, today's topic I'm really pumped to get into. I feel a lot of people struggle with their mental state. I'm not immune to this. Everyone deals with this, everyone has their own internal monologue. But today I want to talk about how to free yourself from the bondage of your mind and get out of your own way. How to control your mind, because until we start to control our mind, we are being used by our mind. So, first off, like the greatest obstacle in experiencing like the present moment is identification with the mind. When we're always thinking about how we're perceived to others and people on social media and even ourselves, anything we do that we're always judging ourselves, it robs us from the ability to be in the present moment. We're not able to just sit there. If we're in the park, or if we're at work, if we're at home, we're sitting there with constant thoughts. It never stops. Our mind is like one of the most incredible tools, but like we don't use it correctly, and we pretty much don't use it at all. We pretty much allow our mind to use us. We allow it to just run rapid, and the media is aware of this. There's a reason why they craft all these stories and things. There's so much stimuli out there that we're never able to catch a break. And then the media knows that we love to sink our teeth into problems. So that's just the nature of our mind. That's why we love things that are challenging to us. That's why we love crossword puzzles. That's why people build bombs and shit, Like, we love to sink our teeth into problems, and because of that's our nature, society and the media takes advantage of that and makes sure to blast you with stories all day. So-and-so did this. Tom Brady may be going to the Cowboys, and it's like, does that bring you any value in this day? Like, you have to stand guard at the doorstep of your mind, and be like, no, I'm not trying to hear that today. Like, it's not conducive to me to hear this information. There's so much information out there. I think, was it like Denzel has like a little video where he was interviewed on the red carpet, and he's like, there's too much information out there, but when does it get to a point where you're too informed and uninformed? And I'd say a ground that we all have to try to figure out, like, just focus on what is going to improve you and get you to where you need to be, and keep a blind eye to the rest of it if it's not really bringing value or helping you get further along in your journey. We've got to get to a point where we're watching the thinker. And watching the thinker is pretty much realizing like we have all eternal monologue. And at a point, some people don't even realize that. Some people just think they're crazy. Like, there's people on the streets that you may see who are probably insane that you think, but they're talking out their internal monologue. You'll walk past some dude on the street who's some like homeless guy, and he's just talking to himself, but he just literally has no filter on his internal monologue, and everyone has the same thing. You're looking at him, judging him with your internal monologue. You're just not saying it. And many people allow this internal monologue to allow it to torment them and continuously punish them and tell them that they're not worthy of whatever it is they want to do, worthy for that relationship, worthy for that job. It's just like, you have to get this under control and realize you're not your mind at the end of the day. You are I, and then there's me. There's a soul that is able to hear. If I'm just sitting here talking and watching this video, I'm aware that I'm making these videos. But who is it that's aware that I'm making these videos? It's the soul. You have to disconnect yourself from your mind, because we're not our mind. Carry around, we just all have a person that we are able to almost use as a vehicle in this life. It's almost like Avatar. It's almost like the movie Avatar. Like, we're placed in these bodies, and this is what we are placed with. Like, this is our character that we chose in this video game. Like, we're player ones, and I was graced to be in this body. So we weren't able to choose our characters, but we may have. Some people believe that we chose to come here, but we really don't always have the choice to where we're being placed, and that's a whole other topic. But yeah, you got to see it as you are not your mind. And to overcome this, we must listen to this voice that is our mind, because it's an ongoing process, and there's repetitive patterns that have probably been going on in your head since childhood. And if you don't ever sit down and realize what is the ongoing dialogue that's going on in your head that you need to figure out and change up, you'll allow that to run its course through your whole life, and you'll be in old age and still have this crazy dialogue going on in your mind, and the way you do things, and it's never allowing you to excel because you never sat down and tried to figure out what it was that was holding you back. And it's such a powerful thing to finally get a grip on your mind and know that you don't have to listen to those thoughts. If they're not conducive to you, you do not have to listen to them. Like, do not judge or condemn your thoughts when you are watching your thoughts either, because if you do judge those thoughts, you're allowing that same mind to then come back and creep back in the back door. And it's like, it's such a it's not the easiest thing to do, honestly. Like, it's the same thing with meditation. Like, when I meditate, I like to just sit there, and I almost like to imagine I'm just at a desk and all these thoughts are coming through. These are all dots coming through, and I'm just sitting there filing these away. Like, okay, that's cool. And eventually these dots that are coming on the desk, they gradually stop. They slowly and gradually stop. And then once they finally stop, I'm just left there with this stillness. And that's your being. That's literally where you want to get to. And it's not like you're a mindless drone or in some trance. You're allowing yourself to connect back to your spirit. That's what happens when you are able to clear all these bad thoughts out of your mind. When your conscious presence comes in and makes itself known to these dots, those dots then almost submit to that spiritual presence, who you really are. Because you're no longer energizing the mind and identifying with those dots. And it's almost as your mind's having like a party. And say there's this gig and party, there's all these people, but they're your thoughts. And these bad thoughts are the ones in the corner of the party, and they're just gossip queens. They're just literally talking about everyone, but you're sitting there like not identifying with them. You're just like, no, I don't feel, they're not my vibe, you know. I'm not gonna give them any attention. Those dots, or you could even think of them as those dots, like the freaking hose, you know. But you don't identify yourself with them. You're just like, no, I'm gonna let them do their thing. They just want attention. They're gonna just want to gossip. I'm not about it. And because they need that attention and you don't give it to them, they'll eventually leave, because they need that energy. They need to be energized by your thoughts, and where your focus goes, energy flows. So they're getting energy. It's like the same with Instagram. Like those those dots, people call them those hoes over there, call them those dots over there. Like they're literally dots that are not conducive to you. They eventually leave, and then the whole real party starts. The party starts, baby. And you're able to sit there blind eye to it all. You're just like, I got this. Those are just some dots. Those gossip queens, you know. You roll in like Tom Cruise on Risky Business. You got the house to yourself because you're free of all your bad dots. You're just leveling up all day, and it's like that's what it is. It's a sense of joy and peace that you're able to sit there with, and you want to have these blockers on and be able to not take in the bad dots and the bad media that comes through your lens. You have to be the one who's crafting your experience, because if you don't, it will be crafted for you. So I'm gonna take these off. But with continuous practice, yeah, you'll reach this place of stillness more often, and you got to realize like your vibration is going to raise as well. Like if you want to go higher and you want to raise your vibration, it's all about what can you start cutting off. It's like the parachute. The parachute can't go any higher if its stakes are in the ground. You got to cut off all four sides, and then it'll eventually start to rise. But it's not about how can I get up there. It's the same with like an elevator. There's a weight that on the other side that's being pulled down. With singing, it's the same thing. To hit high notes, you're not reaching for high notes. You're actually dropping down into your diaphragm, in the bottom of your belly, and to hit those high notes. And it's all about what you could cut off to fully start to raise up in your consciousness and your business, whatever. Like you got to figure out what it is you need to cut off, and what dots you need to cut off is where everyone needs to start, because we have so much going on in our heads that people, like mental illness was not a thing growing up for me. Like this is a new thing that they just classified, like that you need to be prescribed these drugs, and those are all just temporary fixes for something that needs to be handled on a deeper level. Like no drug could just cure your mind and all your thoughts. That's not what it's about. And then there's all these bad side effects, and it's just an ongoing process. Then you're prescribed. You literally need those pills. Like it does you no good. Like I don't know if people are still trying to figure out if the pharmaceutical industry is a scam, but if you have not figured that out at this point, like 2020 is going to be a crazy ass year for you, and like get this shit on lock. But yeah, you want to get yourself to a place where you are so happy and just joyful with just your being. When those dots are free, then you'll be able to start to connecting with people. But like I was saying, like figure out what it is you need to get. Figure out what it is you need to cut out, because the media distracts your mind every day. And say you don't want to even go about watching the thinker with that type of way about freeing your mind. You could literally just get wrapped up in everyday activities. You could literally grab a candle and just stare at that candle, and because your focus is on that candle and watching it move around, your thoughts are then able to just die down. You're not thinking about anything else but that candle. If you're in the shower, just get wrapped up in the activity. When you're cooking, when you're at the gym, when you're running, those are all forms of meditation. Meditation is just being wrapped up and fully immersed into an activity. I think a lot of people allow the meditation word to just think like they have to be some yogi. And not everyone's capable of doing that. And some people are just sitting there and they get nothing done. So if you're that type of person, you need to find an activity that you could get lost in, and not like video games or anything, but something simple, like clean your house. Really if you're cleaning your dishes, brushing your teeth, literally do nothing. A lot of people eat and they have to always be watching something. They're always distracted. Like, I challenge yourself to just sit down with yourself and just eat and enjoy and really examine, be appreciative of the food that you have in front of you. That alone will get you on a higher vibration and out of your mind, and allow yourself to realize, like, what is it that you're so worried about? We're literally bombarded with so much things that we need to worry about. And realize every time you create a gap in your mind, you're allowing the light of consciousness to come in. And I really truly feel that there's an agenda to bombard us with so many things, because I think there's a reason why we're not being able to have that type of silence. The media and society does not want you to have a gap in your thoughts. And if you have all your notifications on your phone, like, good luck getting a break throughout the day. Like, even if you have an app these days will now be like, yo, where you been? It's been a while. You haven't been connecting. You haven't been buying this. You haven't been doing this. It's like, bro, like, there's a reason people are going insane right now. Like, their thoughts, they're not able to catch a break. It's exhausting. That's why people then try to lose themselves in drugs and alcohol, weed, like, because they just need that, like, they just need a place to get away. It's like, why would you check your email when you're at the beach on vacation? It's like, you have to prioritize your mind. Your mind is a tool, and you got to know when to put it down, because if we're allowing this tool to use us, that's not what our mind is given to us for. Let's see here. I got a few things I want to touch on before I wrap this up. Oh yeah, and this is also a great point right here. A lot of people we're told to, if we have a problem, like, think it through. Just go home, just think about it, think about it deep, long and hard, and you'll figure it out. But you realize the problem that you have, you're trying to solve that problem with the same mind that caused the problem. You feel me? Like, you have to realize, what is the problem? Is it because you're thinking too much? Why are you going to go home to think more and long and harder? It makes no sense. You got to disconnect. You will get those answers and what you need to do from the source, from the Most High. You got to just disconnect. There's, like I said, there's like the super conscious mind, which is, I believe, is the ether, that people are able to tap into when they're finally able to fully relax. You can't really get to that point and get those insights when you are always bombarded with thoughts and stimuli throughout your whole day. Like, it's like literally trying to figure out a solution is like, if you're trying to figure out the same solution with the same mind that you crafted the problem with, they say it's like the chief of police trying to find an arsonist when the arsonist is the chief of police. Like, imagine that. Like you will never, it's just an ongoing vicious circle. You're never going to figure that shit out. So you got to just step away from the whole situation. And as you become disconnected from the voices in your head, and you get good at this, you're going to be starting to look at these voices. They're coming in like a child, like just running through, like, oh, that's cute. Oh, you think that about me? That's cute. That's funny. And that's why you want to get into this process of repeating this process of always watching your thoughts. So then when they come in, you're able to identify with them and realize that you are not your thoughts, that you're not identifying with them. You're just identifying them, but you're not identifying with them. Feel me? So, like, we got to also realize, like, the identification with our mind, which is crazy talk about as well. That I just had a little light bulb go off that even to this day, with people trying to compartmentalize everybody, we got the different races. We even got sub races in races. We got the blacks, we got the light skins, we got the Mexicans, we got this and that. We got transgender, we got gender fluid. Figure out where you fall in, and then identify with that. And it's like, we don't realize that the identification with our mind and what we're trying to just find a place to robs ourselves of truly forming relationships with people, because we have this guard up that I am so and so, I do this and this, that I don't know if I could connect with you, you know? It robs ourselves from connecting with ourselves, our loved ones, nature, the Most High, because we just want to identify with something. And it's almost, I mean, we all have that need. And that's why a lot of people get into cults and shit like that, because, excuse me, they just want to identify and have a place of belonging. But people we that and will take advantage of that. So you got to realize, like, no matter who you are spirit at the end of the day. We got these fleshy vehicles called our human being, but you are a spiritual being having a human experience. Because our avatar. This is the character that we were given in this game of life, and we got to make sure we're leveling up, but not fully identifying with them. You could, if you believe in true spirituality, like, you know that this life is not, it's not it. You know, there's more to this. So, like, it's always a continuous thing. We're eternal beings, and we got to realize that we're way more powerful than we're led to believe. And this media and everybody is taking advantage of it. You got to gain control of your own life, because they're not gonna give it back to you. You think they've had it this long? You think they're just gonna tell you, like, the gig is up, you know, and give you all this back, which you already had, which I robbed you of when you were a child? But gig's up, here you go. No, let's get real here. Let's get real. But love and joy and peace can't really flourish until we freed ourselves from our mind. And I think we all owe it to ourselves and everyone else around us to get to this point where we're no longer identifying with our minds, so we could fully connect with the people around us and allow our consciousness and love and the whole world to just raise on a whole other vibration. And that's literally what I feel compelled to do, and that's all I could really ask for. That pumps me up, that gets me out of bed each day. But if any of this resonated with you guys, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell to be notified when I drop more content. And to my player ones, know that a belief may be comforting, but only through our own experience does it become liberating. Grant yourself that permission to level up. And it's your boy, Salem. I'm out.